Where is the handling of secure access the easiest, and where has it become rather problematic?
Yeah, I think secure access has become really easy for these cloud SaaS applications. Your employees can just open up their iPhone on the road, get access, do their stuff and be done. Where it's really the hardest is for infrastructure that you run and host yourself. So these are servers that are running in your data center. These are servers that are running in AWS cloud. There's such a diversity of them. They're just running so many different applications. And what happens is oftentimes the guy who built those servers has left the company.
When it comes to AWS or, any kind of cloud environment, there's a bunch of different things that can go wrong. There's some definite problems in management, access control, using SSH over the open internet, thinking it's okay to not configuring things and just, hey, let everybody come in and let's use Telnet.
DJ mentioned one of the most common things, SSH over the internet. We call them bastion host, jump host. And the number of people who can pretty easily get into a jump host is insane. Not only are there basic vulnerabilities in SSH they learn to exploit, but the keys are really long-lived. So once someone gets in, you never know. And they might have access for years before they actually do something malicious.
Alan Wesley asked this question: how much of a factor is configuration drift specifically in the cloud?
Configuration drift is just not configuration at all. The solution and infrastructure configuration is code and then applying it.
I would say, from a security perspective, I can see why configuration drift is bad. But from a productivity perspective, I see why it's essential. The business says, spin up the server, make it do X, launch it by Friday. And there's a right way to do it, but you also know that'll take you way too long. And I can tell you as a startup, we do this, you have to do it, right? You have to do it to survive. And so I think configuration drift is just the reality.
Where does the secure access, the effort, the desire to go to secure access move from being seamless to a nuisance to actually affecting company performance?
We really tried to make it seamless when you were in the office. Then we figured, oh, guy, you wanted to work from home. Okay, so we'd give you a VPN. You just turn on the VPN, you pretend you're in the office. And then the infrastructure guys like DJ decided to move all the infrastructure out of the office into the cloud. And then it became absolutely unpalatable that I need to get into the office to access something that's in the cloud. So I think at that point, it kind of broke down.
That's pretty much bang on. And you can take that to another level of chaos and confusion, right? As companies, we give, laptops, hardware to all of our employees, right? So the first part is, well, can we identify the device, right? And authenticate that the device is owned by us. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is distributing software to it and putting death by agent of 1,000 different security tools on it just to make sure it's secure so we don't get data pulled away. And then not trusting that solution, saying, hey, you know what? We're going to spark up AWS workspaces for everybody because now we're in the cloud. We can do that there. This is where too much security, I think, becomes a problem. People don't understand what information they're trying to protect, and then the authentication and authorization around that.
Hello, welcome to the Department of Yes, where no request is ever rejected.
Ban remote access, just flat out ban it and make everyone come into the office again. And they added, it'll surely make you a popular target for hiring. So why do you want to do this?
Well, I think it's a great idea because, COVID is essentially over. So having people come into the office, we're going to increase collaboration. I think that's a great idea.
I would say there's another benefit, which is you can repatriate all your cloud workloads into your data center and save a lot of costs. If you geofence, you need to get your devices lat long constantly, which means now you're tracking your employees wherever they go, which takes you down a different minefield, which is, do you want to be that company that wants to know what Netflix movie I'm surfing?
A lot of people forget, like, humans are humans, right?
Right.
But again, we can only have so many compensating controls for, human stupidity at times. The other problem with it, though, is if we start talking about that hub and spoke model where people are VPNing into their centralized server to access corporate resources, then all of a sudden their IP is probably going to show up in Massachusetts or wherever, right? And so the whole program falls apart.
They have machine learning tools, they have AI tools, they kind of detect your patterns in a more transparent fashion without requiring the user to call them up and saying, I'm going to Mexico. In the last 2 years, no one's going into the office, you're not using the network that was protected. Instead, you're really relying on your device. Mm-hmm. And I think what a lot of security teams don't realize is how important it is to authenticate that device. Yeah, absolutely. I think, the buzzword zero trust has been associated with secure access, but I would just encourage people to look beyond the buzzword, right? I agree. It's very marketing. It's very buzzy, but there is there. And also that it is not an instantaneous click button. You're not going to get zero trust on day one by snapping a finger. Instead, it's a journey. There's no magic bullet. It takes a certain set of time and certain set of principles. But I would also encourage people to embark on that journey. Right? You plant a tree. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today.
Make sure you do entitlement reviews. No matter how big of a company you are, look at who has access to what and make sure that you're removing the people who aren't there anymore.